Hi Carla, I'm making this video to go over first the athlete management system. As we discussed on call this morning, the athlete management system is designed to help you organize training for one client. So we have here the coach dashboard. Um, as I discussed as well, uh, for the price of $50 an hour, we can make customizations to this. So if you want to make this smaller, or if you want to add a second planning component instead, we could do all that. So I'm just saying that up front. So how this works is you're always going to have on the calendar um, a colored box, and this will be colored based on the branding of Vital Strength and Physiology. Just in this guy's athlete management system, his brand colors are blue. So that's why everything's going to be blue in this video. So you see that the current date is highlighted. If you want to make a countdown, you type in equal in the start date and goal date boxes, and then you select your goal date. And then you see that you have 22 weeks to competition. The nice thing about that is that then I can go down here and I could say preparatory 1, intensification 1, intensification 2, and this is a long stretch of planning. So I'll leave it there, but you get the point. And then you can come in and say what you're working on in that phase. I just called this row sub phase, but if you have a better name for it, we could change that. So for example, work capacity. And then here we'll do max strength. Copy that over. And now we'll work on strength speed, and so on and so forth as we get closer to our event. You could talk about the frequency of training in here. So, for example, 3 times per week, and then we could do 4 times per week, so on and so forth, so that we have that organized. As far as movement goes, we could do 2 per week, or you could write in linear skill emphasis or something like that. Whatever you want in there, but this is a place to describe your movement training. If you want an entire section for movement training, again, just let me know and we could actually put that down here. That's what I did for the flames. So you could write in frequency or whatever you're working on. And then for nutrition, say the goal is to maintain 72 kg of body weight. And then you could actually plan out your volume levels here too. So it'll give you a schematic of what your programs are going to look like. So that's volume. Same way it works for intensity. So it just gives you a rough outline of how your loading parameters look like for that athlete. This is nice because when you open this up and you open up an athlete's file, you see how many weeks out they are from their event by looking at the current date. You see what your training plan is, you see what your volume plan is, and then you can come down here and you could select the volume from any week of the program that you want to look at, and then whether you want to look at absolute or relative volume, and it will show you everything that's going on in that current week of training. This is all set up on the setup page. So when you open up an athlete management system, first thing you want to do is go in and enter in the primary exercises that the athlete's doing. These are exercises that you're going to prescribe based off percentage of 1 rep maximum. And the thing about this is that I could say that the squat is one of my exercises, but if I want to prescribe a jump squat, I can still track that as a squat. And how I do that is by typing in all of the things that I want to categorize as a squat under the squat header in my exercise index. And you'll see that that is the case for all of the different categories which we have. So secondary lift analysis, which I'll cover in a moment, and also tracking different types of plyometric exercises. So any exercise which is spelled here will be tracked according to the category which it is under in its header. So going back to the setup page, we have secondary monitoring as well, which are 6 lifts, which you want to track in detail, but not based off the percentage of 1 rep maximum. So these are the ones that I've set out currently. And then these are muscle groups or movement patterns, which you'd like to monitor. So you have the ability to do this. You also, I actually separated this, so I'll go over the athlete log in a moment, but it's included in this file as well. So the next things that I'll want to do are type in your name, hockey, we'll say CIS, and then our start date is October 8, 2019, and we'll go until October 8, 2020. Now, this will develop a branded title page for you. This title page can be used as the front page of a presentation folder. So you could put all of your athlete programs into presentation duotangs, have this as the title page. It's a nice touch to individualize things, and if you're training large groups at once, it's easy to find athlete programs on the floor when their title page with their name on it and big and colorful lettering is floating around on the floor. This is something that I made when I was interning in Los Angeles because programs were getting lost all the time on the floor when there was 10 to 15 athletes who had their duotangs everywhere. So this helped to clear up that issue. And of course, I'd have your logo here, your colors, all that. In order to set up the coach dashboard, you just have to go and type in the date of the Monday of the week that you're starting on. So in this case, I will just type in October 7th, and then we'll be starting at October 7th. Before we move on, I'll also enter in some 1 rep maxes. So let's say 315, 225, 405, super standard stuff. And now we'll go to the program itself. So this program template, we'll have to make a customization here so that you have an AM and PM column for your mesocycle planning. I think we may also have to make another customization so that you have a movement template, because this is just a general warm-up which the athlete could perform on any day of the week. So I think it might be better if we put some conditioning guidelines in here or some RPE guidelines or something, just to make use of the space better on your templates. And we can keep the process-oriented goal or turn it into a notes section or whatever you'd like as well. So this space is kind of up in the air on what you think will work best. But I'm going to show you how we write a program. And the other thing that's important to mention is that the athlete's current training 1 rep maxes are displayed up here in this table. And we'd have your logo here, and everything would be with your colors. So if I want to create a training program, what I'm going to do is copy out the microcycles, and then I'm going to label them microcycle 1, microcycle 2, microcycle 3. and microcycle 4. Now I'm going to group everything together by holding the Shift key. And I'm going to create the first preparatory phase of the year. So we'll start off with the training split. Let's say we're just doing training rest, training rest, training rest, rest. And our process-oriented goal is to develop for the off season. Okay, so I'm ready to write. I'm just going to write in like 3 exercises here just to show you how everything works. And then I'll show you the rest of the system as well. So this is super easy training day, and I'm just going to do it like with powerlifting exercises just to show you how the system does everything. But obviously you could put any workout you want here. All of this is being tracked right now as I write. You'll see the check marks are popping up. That means that the exercise is being tracked in the system. And the reason why that's important is with what I'll show you next. So once I'm done a day, I'll type in that I'm done that day and I'm ready to start day 2 in the calendar. And then I could just copy this row down and start day 2. Let's say that I have a superset here. So Romanian deadlift and overhead press, and then ankle grab sit-ups, and I'm not going to bother typing out everything here. I'm just going to show you how the system visualizes exercise pairings, because it does make them stand out better on a sheet. So any even number in the formatting column is going to shade the row in the light color, and any odd number is going to shade it in the dark color. And let's say that's my week. So you can create a training week of any length using this system because you never have to add or delete rows. And once you've done so and you're happy with your current training week length, then you can copy in some of the other components into your program. I usually create a weekly notes section. And now we're good to move on to the next section of writing an athlete program. So since I had these sheets grouped together, everything is the exact same. But let's say that I want to periodize what we're doing. So I'm going to add a set in week 2, and then I'm going to add 2 reps in week 3, and then I'm going to taper in the final week. So now we have different volumes here. If I scroll over to the right, we'll have this tracking engine, which if an exercise matches the criteria for this section of the athlete management system and what it's designed to track, its training metrics will populate and they will track automatically for you. And this tracking section exists for all of the categories, which we just talked about in the setup tab. So once I'm happy with my program and I'm ready to record it in my system, I can go and click the update button. And when I do this, the data from my program will automatically get copied into my system. And I could also now develop custom reports on my program from any exercise which we're monitoring, or plyometric group or anything like that, to study what we're doing in their training. And these reports can be printed as well. The colors will be formatted for vital strength and physiology. And when you're ready to send out the program, you can just group everything together, make sure that you're exporting it as in portrait mode, and then I would just say Carla Robbins phase 1. And now I've saved that as a PDF, and it's good to go, and I'll email it out to you. So that's the athlete management system. The next part of the athlete management system that I'd like to discuss is our athlete log. So this is included in, it's included with the athlete management system purchase. It's designed to be emailed out to clients. So let's say that my weight today was 155 pounds. And these are my pre-training conditions. And then after training, I could fill out the post-workout survey. And then we can get a very quick glance of the athlete's readiness. So this is kind of like the pre-training survey. This is post-workout survey. And this is set up for every week of the year for 52 weeks. If you want to change the criteria, so what is a 1, what is a 5 in terms of points for readiness, you can go in and manually type in your own criteria here. So I have the criteria which I currently use, but if you want to use something different, you can. And this file is designed to be sent out to athletes so that they could actually fill it out and email it back to you. So that is the athlete management system. Now I'm going to show you the client performance index. So the first step with the client performance index is you want to go through and set up your tests. I have every test that we would use, and then there's empty spaces for anything else that I couldn't think of. But if you want less tests in your systems, like by all means, just erase this and type in your own. And then from that list, you could select what you want displayed on the report card, which I'll cover in a moment. So we have a section for anthropometrics, movement profile, strength profile, power profile, energy system profile. And if you need to change a section, like for example, you want this to say body composition profile instead of anthropometrics, that's fine. You literally just change the title and change the text on the report card, and you're good to go. You will also want to enter in the different categories which you have. And then as far as athlete group goes, like you can call this whatever. Like you can refer to them as times. You could say group 1 versus group 2. Um, whatever you'd like there. Next, you'll want to go to your client roster. So I'm going to enter in Carla Robbins. I'm not sure if that's actually your email or not, but I'm just typing it in for demonstration. And I'm not sure if that's your birthday or not either. I'm just making this up. And we'll say that you started on October 8th of 2018, and you're finishing today. And then I'm going to create a slot for me as well. Okay. So when I'm ready to do some entries, I'm going to go to test entry. I'm going to select the person I'm making an entry for. There's a lot of different categories for entry in the system right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to track some lifts because it's easy to find. And then I'll create the report based on lifts only. So let's say that our test is today. So make sure you type in the date. And then I'm going to scroll over, and let's say that 155 pounds on hang clean for 3 reps, 175 pounds on clean for 3 reps, and I'm not sure, 275 for 3 reps on back squat. So when I click copy data, that's going to get automatically inputted into the system. And now we're on to the next test. So you'll see that your data is automatically going to pop up here. Now let's say that you did 165 for 3 and 175, or we'll do 185 for 3. And let's say that you hit a big PR and did 305 for 3. 2 days later. So now I'm going to click copy data, and you'll see that your second test is in the system. If I select me, you'll see that nothing is in the system. So based on whose name you've selected, it'll show their data. So I'm going to show you what a sample report looks like. So you can customize all of this. And then you'll see that the only things I have are the strength profile numbers. So it'll show you the before and the after. And then when I select, I'm just going to make sure I have the lifts right here. So we'll do hang clean. It'll show you the percentage of change from before and after. And then I think the other one was clean. So, and I don't believe I have that set as an option in my report. Yeah, I might not, but that's how we can graph things. Yeah, I don't have clean, so I'm going to go back and change that just so I can show you. There we go. So when I do that, now clean will show up on my report, and I'll have the options selected from the drop-down list. So then I would simply click print, and you would have your athlete report. Now, what I can also do is I can compare the University of Calgary Dinos team average to the Strength Guys team average. I can compare male versus female, hockey versus powerlifting, male versus powerlifting, female versus powerlifting, or I could compare you, so your first test, against the Group 2 average. So it allows you to run quite a number of different reports here, and you could title it. So, for example, Carla Robbins versus team average. That's a little bit too long. So we'll say Carla versus team. And then test number 1 versus University of Calgary. And so you'll get to see the percentage at which the team is above your individual test results here. So this is another example of a different report which I can run. So that's everything. I guess the last thing that you need to know is that if you want to clear out an entry because you made a mistake or anything like that, just go into the performance index. This is just raw data. There's nothing else to it. And you erase it, and then all the data is gone. So that's how the performance index works. The tests are completely customizable. The reports are completely customizable. And it will allow you to track up to 1,000 tests before you need to start a new system. I can add more tests if you like. You can have up to 500 athletes, and you can have 200 tests per athlete. Let me know if you have questions, and I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback.